What's up everyone, Mohsin here and welcome back to another Motivation Monday video. In today's video, we're having some real talk about my experience in the corporate world. I was in the corporate world for almost 10 years until I finally said goodbye. So in case you're headed to the corporate world, in it currently, or trying to get out of it, there's something for all of you to learn in this video. Make sure to watch until the end to find out what I think is the most important thing I learned. So, let's kick things off. Management can't manage. This one might come as a bit of a shock, since we're all taught to trust management and assume they belong there. But from my experience, this couldn't be further from the truth. I've had managers that have screamed at me to shut up while explaining something. I've had managers who have no clue how to support me. I've had managers that say one thing to my face and do another, and I've had managers say they're giving me freedom to experiment, but then stop me at every turn. You get the idea. Most of these so-called managers don't have a clue about what it takes to lead a team, let alone manage. A trend I've seen quite often is that people who have just put in time to a position automatically get placed into management roles without the slightest clue about what it takes to be a good manager. And no, you can't just place them in a one-day course on management and expect them to be able to lead. A good manager or leader has to know how to connect with a team, lead by example, have empathy, understand personalities, and want to see their individuals succeed. Now I will say, some people take the management promotions very seriously and spend time growing and learning into becoming a good leader, but sadly, this is very rare. Most people in management assume they need to be even more harsh and rigid now that they have moved up, focus only on the project instead of the people, and push team morale into the sewers until they have a team of autopilot zombies. I've had managers that are only focused on the project, and once in a blue moon have had managers that I felt were truly focused on me and my growth, and my happiness and personal development under the latter was exponential. I can assure you that you will have the same experience. So don't get bought into the false sense of security that your managers know what they're doing. Most of them don't, and most likely don't belong in that position in the first place. You are in charge of your career. When you join the corporate world, you will have an easy, defined, and thoughtfully laid out career track that's simple to follow and lets you know how to move up step by step. Just kidding. When most of us join the corporate world, we have this expectation that the company will have some idea of career progression for your role, but unfortunately, in most cases, this just isn't true. You may find that your role has key skills and knowledge expectations for all the different levels, but it is often hard to figure out
I don't know what the that was.
how to go about achieving them, and there's usually limited attention paid to making sure you're moving up in your skill sets. So, what can you do? My biggest takeaway here is to understand you yourself are in charge of your career progression. Don't wait for anyone to tell you to learn something, or expect management to take a all of a sudden interest in your development. Start networking. Find out what you need to know to move up. Shadow people or volunteer. Take courses. Study. At the end of the day, all these career tracks are there to meet HR demands and look good on paper, but they don't amount to much in reality. Keep grinding and develop yourself with whatever means you can, and you will move up much quicker than waiting for clueless management to help you develop yourself. Don't believe job titles and descriptions. In almost all the positions I've had in those 10 years, most job descriptions for my roles weren't even close to being accurate about what I was going to actually be doing, so take them with a grain of salt. I'm telling you this because a lot of you may take a job thinking, wow, this is exactly what I want to do. But most of those job titles and descriptions are carefully written by HR to make the position seem extra exciting and grandiose. But they don't turn out to be. Even worse, Most of these titles and descriptions are boilerplate and full of recycled lines that people are too lazy to change or update. Make sure to come prepared to interviews with specific questions about the role, position, and day in the life questions. These responses will give you clues about how deceptive the titles and descriptions are. Even then, just don't be surprised if you get hired thinking you're going to be doing certain things, but end up working on something you weren't expecting. You may care about this, or it may not bother you at all depending on your mindset, but just wanted to make sure you know this either way. Most people are miserable. This one is particularly sad to talk about, and I hate that it's true. A while back, a highly talked about poll by Gallup mentioned only 15% of the world's workers are engaged at work, leaving a whopping 85% of people who are not happy at work and not engaged. I could create a whole nother video on the negative effect this can have on people and business itself, but for now, let me just describe how I saw this live. Almost everyone I came into contact with was miserable, hated the hours, what they were doing, didn't feel valued or listened to, wanted to be doing something else, hated their boss, hated the meetings, but most of them never considered doing something that made them happy. They were all married to the money and status quo, claiming they couldn't do what they wanted to do because it was unrealistic, wouldn't make money, or would be too hard, all without ever even lifting a finger to try. I've seen people walk around like zombies who have never done anything else in their lives, always fearful of losing their job or management calling them out, wearing an aura of misery around them. I've seen people come to these morning meetings, full of fake smiles and laughs, as they speak about how engaged and happy they are with work, their lives and each other, all to turn around and complain about those exact same things once the meeting is over. Witnessing this for so many years took a toll on me, especially since I consider myself a very social person, in tune with his feelings and has great empathy towards others. Make no mistake, people are miserable. They just hide it and convince themselves everything is fine, or that there are no other options, so they stay in that misery forever, and I hope that does not ever become you. Listen to your inner voice. The previous point builds right into the final thought I wanted to share with you today, and that is to always listen to your inner voice. About halfway through my career, I started feeling angst, depression, and anxiety about my job. I wasn't happy, I wasn't enjoying it anymore, and my mind felt stale and unchallenged. I fought that feeling for quite some time and used the miserable people I saw around me just grinding out life as my excuse as to why I don't need to change anything. After all, if they're miserable in here, what makes me so damn special to want more out of life? Eventually, fighting my own happiness and ignoring my own wants and desires led me down a path of awakening, where I finally had the courage to know and accept that this corporate life was not for me. Yes, people looked at me differently and saw me as a rogue agent of some sort, considering myself better than the others. But it was so freeing, and it helped me move towards the life that I want. I let the money, stability, and visual of other miserable people keep me in a scenario I should have left long ago, and I don't want that for you or anyone. Listen to your inner voice and act on it as soon as you can with a plan in place. In the words of the great Gary Vaynerchuk, there's no reason to do shit you hate. Well, that's it for today's video. Keep in mind, everything I talked about today is from my own experience and my own opinion. Maybe you love the corporate world, or you work for the best corporation of all time. If that's the case, more power to you. If you learned something new here today, please be sure to drop a like to support me as a creator, and subscribe so you never miss another video. Catch y'all in the next one, and until then, wishing you all love and success.